What's up guys, it's your coach Łukasz, and as a personal trainer and a strength and conditioning coach, I notice in a general public that a lot of people struggle with Romanian deadlift. They struggle to perform this exercise correctly and safely. So in this video, I will demonstrate how to do this movement correctly. We're gonna cover the most common mistakes and we're gonna go over the benefits from this exercise so you guys can be safe during this movement and get the most benefits from this movement. So check it out. Romanian deadlift or RDL is a hip hinge movement and it's also a great exercise to enhance your conventional deadlift. It's also a great exercise to strengthening your hamstrings, your glutes and spinal erectors. The difference between Romanian deadlift and a conventional deadlift is that with a deadlift, we're picking up the barbell or the weight from the floor, from the dead stop or dead weight. That's why it's called a deadlift. And with the Romanian deadlift, we're gonna start this movement from the top. We're not gonna go all the way down, so the range of motion is a little bit shorter, and we're gonna finish on the top. So that's the difference between Romanian deadlift and the conventional deadlift. This movement is also a great accessory or supplemental lift during the days like medium intensity or low intensity days where you feel beat up, because this movement is less systemically fatiguing than the conventional deadlift. So those are the benefits and the difference between Romanian deadlift and the conventional deadlift. Now let's go over the common mistakes when people during the Romanian deadlift. All right guys, so let's go over right now some common mistakes that I notice when people performing this exercise. Mistake number one is rounded back. So for example, often I see when people doing the Romanian deadlift, they're not keeping the spine aligned and lats and core tight. So they're just rounding their back like this, right? And that's obviously gonna put a lot of pressure on your lower back and cause injuries. So when we're going down, we don't wanna be like this and round our back, okay? So that's mistake number one. All right, mistake number two is people are not sure or they don't know how to do a hip hinge correctly, and they're doing like a squat hinge, which is a hybrid between a squat and a hinge. So when we're doing our Romanian deadlift, we hip hinge so our hips go back, okay? But sometimes I see that people driving their knees forward and their hips dip down like this. So they're kind of like squatting and hip hinging at the same time, and they're not really able to isolate and engage their hamstrings. Because again, the knees moving forward, they're dropping hips down instead of being in this position, okay? So we actually did a video about how to do a hip hinge correctly, so the link is gonna be in the description below, but that's mistake number two. Common mistake number three is, from what I see in general public, is that people keeping their barbell away from the center of their body mass or away from their legs. So they're going down and the barbell is away from the legs, too far away, which can cause a lot of pressure on your lower back and obviously can cause injury and pain and stuff like that. So I like to keep the barbell like touching my legs, which is closer to the center of the body mass, which puts less tension on my lower back. If the barbell is gonna be too far away, that's more tension on the spine and it can cause injury. So that's mistake number three. Mistake number four is the range of motion. What I mean by that is sometimes I see people going too low with the barbell, where they're going down and then going too low like this, okay? And the idea is, common idea, misconception is that the bigger range of motion is always better. That's not always the case. I feel like going too low with the barbell doesn't put extra muscle tension on the hamstrings and glutes, but also put more pressure and tension on the lower back. So I don't feel it's necessarily to go as low as we can. I would just argue we just want to go mid-shin or slightly below our knees. Also, what I see sometimes, people having the grip too close to the legs. So ideally, our hands should be outside of our hips and legs, okay? So we don't want to be like this, hands a little bit wider than your hips, okay? So that's mistake number four. All right guys, so now we're gonna go over how to perform this exercise correctly. When you guys performing this movement for the first time, I'll recommend to practice with a PVC pipe or just the empty barbell. So to make sure that you're doing this exercise correctly, you feel comfortable with this movement, and then we can gradually increase the weight. Now, the prerequisite for this movement is to make sure that you guys know how to hip hinge correctly. So again, we did a video about how to hip hinge, so the link is gonna be in the description. Otherwise, let's go over this exercise. So, our feet gonna be hip or shoulder width apart. I like to put the barbell on the rack and the height where I will finish the leg on top. When it comes down to grip, the way I measure the grip, I like to put my thumbs on the end of this rough part of the barbell. And you have two different grips variation. You have this grip. This is a pretty good grip because you have an evenly distributed weight on both hands. Or you can use this grip, which is a little bit stronger grip. You can also use straps if the weight is too heavy and your grip is a limiting factor during this movement. But ideally, our hands should be outside of our hips and legs. Feet should be shoulder width or hip width apart, depending on your body type. All right, so this is gonna be our starting position. Make sure you're straight, brace your core, keep your lats tight. From this position, I'm gonna hip hinge, so I'm gonna shoot my hips back, and I'm gonna slide the barbell by my legs, slightly below your knees or like mid-shin. So I'm gonna slide the barbell below my knees, I'm gonna shoot my hips back, soft bend in your knees, come back up, squeeze your butt on top, and exhale. Nice and control. Make sure you're engaging your lats, keep your spine tight and back straight. Nice and control. Leg on top, exhale, neck neutral, and that's how we're doing Romanian deadlift. All right, guys, so today we went over Romanian deadlift of RDL. We know that this is a great exercise to strengthening and make your hamstrings and glutes bigger. It's a good secondary supplemental lift to enhance and improve your conventional deadlift. You can use this movement during low intensity or medium intensity days where you feel beat up and fatigued, because I do believe that this movement is less systemically fatiguing than the conventional deadlift. If you have a lower back pain or you've never done deadlifts, this is a good teaching tool. But again, make sure that you know how to do a hip hinge properly. Well, so we talked a lot today about, we covered many different things when it comes down to Romanian deadlift. So if that was helpful, if you were struggling with Romanian deadlift, if you're not sure what to do, if you feel lower back pain, share this video, recommend to your friends. If you liked the video, make sure you click that like button. Otherwise, work hard, stay focused, and we'll see you soon. Take care.